You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back, Rudrance, for Black and White Sports 2. Well, we're going to talk about Jon Gruden. As we know, this past, sometime in the last 10 days, Jon Gruden went in to work with the New Orleans Saints and his former quarterback, Derek Carr. Now, we know Jon coached Derek Carr. Derek Carr's a big fan. But Derek Carr took all of this a step further with his praise of Jon Gruden. And we will get to that because that's what the video is about. As we know, Jon Gruden's trying to work himself back from an obvious cancellation attempt by the National Football League, in my opinion anyway. But somebody, we don't know who, there's been speculations it was Dan Snyder. It's been speculations that, frankly, it was the NFL themselves that leaked emails on two separate occasions in what was a blatant attempt to get Jon Gruden fired from the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, there's been a lot of people come out and defend Jon Gruden, a lot of his players, former players in the league, people that know him, Randall Cunningham, Warren Sapp. Oh, yeah, those guys are black. Now, of course, Jon Gruden's been branded a racist at this point. I've said, do I eventually believe Jon Gruden will come back? Yes, but I think it will be in form of a college job, unless there can be some kind of a line drawn between, let's say, Jon Gruden and Derek Carr. Now, I think this was a really good idea by Dennis Allen. But if he starts struggling as a coach, Dennis Allen, and struggles with Derek Carr, you do have to wonder if the New Orleans Saints would start glancing at the direction of Jon Gruden. Again, it was heavily rumored that Jon Gruden was basically one of the absolute finalists for the LSU job. So, in Louisiana, Jon Gruden, point of fact, is going to fly. Fans are going to love him as long as he wins, whether it's college or pro football. Well, as we know, he went in, he worked with the Saints, he worked with Dennis Allen, and he worked with his old quarterback, Derek Carr. And Derek Carr has made some lengthy comments about Jon Gruden. And frankly, for the ones that were pulling for Jon Gruden's demise, the ones that continue to try to brand him racist, homophobic, misogynistic, whatever, insert ism here that they want to use on Jon Gruden or ist, they are going to be none too happy with the comments that Derek Carr has made about Jon Gruden. Because, point of fact, Derek Carr loves Jon Gruden, and he did not hold back today when talking about Gruden. Back in May, the Saints brought in former Raiders coach Jon Gruden to work with the offense during the offseason. Of course, Gruden and now New Orleans quarterback Derek Carr spent several years together in Oakland and Las Vegas with their former organization. This week, Carr said he thought it was valuable to have Gruden come into the building from several standpoints. Quote, "I mean, it makes sense. I played my best football for him," Carr said in his press conference. "So if anybody trusts me, I spent a lot of time with him. And so if anybody knows me, if anybody knows things about me that I don't know, he would know. The Saints coaches can ask questions that I can't answer. How's Derek react after this? I think I'm going to answer it right, but Gru, as in Gruden, will tell the truth." Carr added it was fun to see his two head coaches. Interesting. He just come out and said his two head coaches from the Raiders, Gruden and Dennis Allen, communicate in the same room. The quarterback said they saw football the same way, which added to the process. Everyone's idea makes sense to each other. Everyone's receiving ideas, even if it's new, Carr said. And it was just kind of cool to sit there and enjoy the time, enjoy being around each other. This is the part that is really going to upset the wokes out there, the ones that want Jon Gruden's head on a stick, natural-born killer style. But Carr also enjoyed a visit from Gruden because, as he explained it, he loves his former head coach. Quote, "I can't express enough how much I love Gruden. He's family to me, Carr said. When all that stuff happened, it was hard for me because you're mad, you're frustrated, but you don't stop loving him. You know I love that man and what he's meant to me in my career. I played my best football with him, and I admire him. I've seen him around his kids. I've seen him around Cindy, his wife. I know who he is, and I love him deeply like family. So I can't express to you how much that means to me, he means to me, how hard of a time that was for me when all that stuff was happening. Gruden abruptly resigned his position as Raiders head coach on October 11, 2021 after racist, homophobic, and misogynistic emails he'd sent years before became public. That's the part of the equation that neither myself or Mr. Matrix likes. Years before. Like, people can't change, people can't adjust. Like, that's just it. I mean, 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago, something comes out and people want you gone over it. Like, people don't evolve. People can't learn. People can't be better. Not only that, but he was canceled by the very people that want to preach tolerance all the time. Okay, not very tolerant, are you? The fact that I got to see him again, give him a hug, it was like he was saying, I'm finishing this sentence, all this kind of stuff. It just comes back just like that. Carr continued. He was like, what was this play? I could spit it out just like it was yesterday. What could have been, you think about those times, you think about what could have been and all that kind of stuff. But thankful to be here, thankful that I got to see him wearing our colors, wearing the Saints colors. Neither of us thought a couple of years ago we'd be doing that, but here we are. Carr added that he didn't really get to process much of Gruden's resignation meant in the moment, but the two were neighbors in Vegas, and there were times when Carr would go to Gruden's house and visit with him. During that, I was like, I have two choices. I can either be mad about it or I can choose to love him, Carr said. And yes, I can be mad at certain things that were said or certain things that were done or decisions that were made. But at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. My choice was I was going to love him. If no one else was, I was going to love him. Wow, they're going to hate Derek Carr's guts. And so I just tried to, even when things aren't perfect, nobody's perfect, you still try. At least I try my best to continue to love the people I'm called to love and give them everything that I have, so it didn't necessarily change. I just knew he wasn't my coach at that time anymore, and that was hard. The Raiders finished that season 10-7 and went to the postseason, and they've been an utter train wreck ever since Jon Gruden has been gone. That's all I'm going to say. I don't necessarily agree with some of the personnel moves, but it was clear that offense on the field had finally gelled and come together under Jon Gruden, and it was finally working. And then all of this happened. And there's so much speculation out there in regards to what happened to Gruden. Was this a way the NFL could start trying to get to Mark Davis and force him out as an owner? There's been a lot of different things that have been said around that whole situation. And again, who leaked the emails? Who targeted Gruden? I don't know. I don't like it. A lot of people, they don't like it. They don't think it's fair. He come out. He apologized. Supposedly, people are supposed to be tolerant. We accept your apology. Let's move on and keep coaching. That didn't get to happen. And here's the thing. They released one set of emails. Oh, Mark Davis did not want to fire Jon Gruden. And make no mistake, they keep saying resignation, but he was forced out. He was fired. All right? We're arguing semantics at that point, right? And, by the way, Jon Gruden is suing the NFL. Word has it, him working with the Saints is not going to affect his lawsuit. He wants to be paid something like $50 million from the NFL. I hope he gets every red cent. I do. Anyway, I'm a big Chucky fan. I always have been, so it is what it is. But It's utterly ridiculous what happened to Jon Gruden. It's ridiculous that guy with that pedigree and that resume has to try to build up from nothing again. It's pathetic. It's an indictment on exactly how not tolerant so many people really are. Everybody makes mistakes. People forget that. A lot of the people are throwing stones at glass houses right now. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 supporters. Chucky back working in the NFL, around teams, around the Saints. He's not that far away these days all of a sudden. I hope somehow, some way, kind of wish Jon Gruden would start a YouTube channel or something. Start having some ex-quarterbacks in. Start talking football. Start a podcast. Something, Jon Gruden. People want to hear and watch Jon Gruden do things. I mean, to this day, that quarterback camp he had on ESPN before the draft, it was one of their highest-rated shows, original programs. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.